apologize about Trapper at the beginning there. I had my earbuds in the wrong ears, so I kept hearing the monster in one direction and turning and running the exact opposite way.
That makes a big difference.
It worked out well.
So, Monix, what do you think about some of the changes?
Yeah, they were substantial.
Yeah, there's a lot of changes on that map. So we can go ahead and do that map one more time, and then go ahead and swap to some of the other maps and or people.
I tell you, that where we were positioned there when we were waiting for the monster to come back in, like the changes there made it very disorienting because I could hear him stomping around, but I can't see him. And they have that that overhead bridge, and then like the foliage in the way.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah, it made it very disorienting to be able to hear but not be able to see where he was coming from.
Yep. Yeah, basically what their goal is that they don't want anyone outside of Cabot, because Cabot breaks the rules, that there's no area where the hunter has a range of 70 to 90 plus and be able to knock a monster out the relay. So it actually, I'm kind of excited for that, because to me, I feel like whenever I evolved to stage 3, it was because I was doing bad at stage 2. Because most of the time, hunters were able to cheese the crap out of relays, and I hated going to stage 3. But with a lot of the new changes and stuff, I'm actually excited. I might actually go to stage 3 purposely now, because it's not as easy to cheese it, so it'll be exciting to see. Let's go ahead and let's get another game going.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good change to the map.
I was also just gonna say that the new relay seems really behemoth favored, because I just kept putting up that rock wall, and aside from Cabot, you would have to go all the way around it if you didn't want that.
Well, yeah. Well, and that's fine, because Behemoth actually suffers probably the most next to Wraith at relays in general. Just because if monsters or all the hunters are in different directions, it's really hard to go up and down traversal.
I feel like being in that alcove there, he could probably drop a rock wall. It's 2-point rock wall and have the entire thing blocked off. Which, I mean, we guess we have to test that mechanically, but
True.
So I see what he's saying with that. I mean, because it's not just the big doorways; it's that alcove.
I actually
Oh, and they can no longer hear me. It is a mystery. Okay, take it easy, Sandy. Thanks for watching. I was actually approached at one point whether or not I wanted a shoutcast. The problem with me is that I don't have a lot of practice with it, and I'm very analytical. I like to say, oh, I wish that this would happen. This is good for this. I do a lot of analytical stuff, and that doesn't really make for a great shoutcaster, just because I don't have as much excitement unless something's really, really crazy good. In which case, so I'm not a great shoutcaster, but I'm a great, coach and I completely forgot to give my feedback regarding their specific hunters. I haven't done coaching with Cal in a while. I apologize. I'm kind of out of it. It's been a week and a half. Last week was crazy with the funeral. This week I got my entire work schedule rearranged because of a possible promotion of stuff, and it's going to be interesting. So they're swapping out Hyde instead of Markov here, but keeping the rest of the hunters the same. So this will be very interesting. Hyde doing... And amazingly, I think Hyde is actually arguably probably the strongest hunt or assault, but not by much. I'm not saying that the others are weak. Assault and Trapper are very, very well balanced. I think all the Trappers are very viable. I think all the assaults are very viable. It's just basically kind of play style and whether or not you want to be stronger at stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3 against the monster. And of course, Hank and Kyra, medics probably being the least balanced of all, although it is getting a bit closer. And the supports are pretty well, in my opinion, pretty well balanced as well. And it looks like we've got Elite Wraith versus the Cabbage Patch Kids. Okay, so doing a fake out and heading off towards the Mammoth Bird land. doing a good job of staying airborne. I can't remember what height you go before you actually leave footprints, and I can't see footprints in observer mode. I want to say it's about 40 meters. But I'd have to actually see it in play. So going over, eating out in the open, very different than his last playthrough where he was doing a very good job of trying to eat and be sneaky at the same time. Ooh, a couple of mammoth birds in the cave area might actually be very, very good. So the mammoth birds going to get away, and the hunters... looks like they are sticking together. Okay, so they do have a split. Looks like that the assault and medic are going the way that the monster went last time. And this is the advantage of going different directions than when you did before. So the trapper and support going through the caves, looking for any signs of tracks, and the assault and medic keeping up. I would like to see the assault ahead of the medic a little bit, just because if the medic is pounced, the assault, while will be able to shoot off, but that will put him in a dangerous position that you don't want to be in. Ooh, and support just barely walking by. I like that the monster decides not to engage, doesn't feel comfortable. So they are doing a great job. Ooh, cardboard very low. In fact, Silverblade could easily come around. I feel like this is going to be a pounce. Yep, and a warp blast. Bam! Just almost gone. Ooh, fantastic shielding by Hank. But it's just going to be a little too late. The medic and assault so far away that this is going to be a very, very quick dome. And he might actually be able to get 2 strikes here before the medic and the assault even get here. I do like the orbital, but I feel the orbital was slightly too late. Just because he had to be shielding him the entire time. Very well played, and one of those reasons why you have to be very, very careful that if you're split that far apart, not to take damage. And so there was no real reason to go through the caves. The trapper should probably have put sound spikes all along here, and then you can go in a little bit closer, because going in the caves by yourself, you're going to take a little bit of damage from the reavers and things like that. So Monster doing a great job. One down on the Trapper is going to make a big difference. It's going to make it very easy for the Monster to get out of a dome if he so chooses, because he can focus on that one person with a little bit health. Yeah, go ahead and join the Steam channel chat, Conjugates. I will be having another group going after this in a little while. I do like these sight blocks all the way down, so it makes it harder to just have one hunter in a spot. Okay, so the hunters do see him. I do not... I do like shooting the monster when he's greater than 70 meters away, so it doesn't trigger the combat state. But within 70, I would never shoot the monster if it had like half armor or more, because all you're doing is going to be able to get it away from the rest of your team. Excuse me. So Silverblade, once again, doing a great job of trying... Excuse me, I've got hiccups. But Sharper here might actually see... Oh, wow. Misses him. Monarch's getting close. Should be able to go ahead and see it. Sees it. And did the right thing. I probably wouldn't have stopped. I would have tried looking around, seeing you couldn't see it. Trying to bait out a pounce with the personal shield up. Safe Gaming? Safe Gaming. Give me 1 second. So if you are on PC, because we're playing on PC right now, if you're on PC, feel free to add MaddCowQQ, and I will invite you to the channel that we're in. So Monster did take a point into Decoy. Decoy was going after the Dune Beetle. And the monster is looking for a place to evolve. Monarch's all by himself. Needs to be careful. Trapper taking a little bit of damage again. Needs to be careful about those reavers in there. And it looks like here comes a dome. The dome will go and in fact get the creature. But with Decoy, it's going to be interesting to see. It does not look like he can get through there. But he looks like he's going to hide back there anyway. And it looks like that they kind of know where he is. I still feel like that they should keep checking back here, because whenever a decoy starts from somewhere, there they go. There we go. Good job. So the monster finally deciding to come out and play. Medic getting shielded just in time for that Warp Blast. So as long as Hank is really good with the shields on Warp Blast, the Wraith kind of loses a lot of potency. I feel that the Wraith right now is a one-trick pony. Not that it was too great to begin with. But right now, it's a Warp Blast, and you're all just about comboing the Warp Blast and trying to get downs that way. So Monster's health almost gone. The dome's still up. They might actually be able to do a decent amount of damage. And Griffin doing a little bit of harpooning. I would probably, at this point when he's moving around like this, I probably wouldn't worry about harpooning too much. Wraith has a very easy time of getting out of harpoons from a Griffin. So a little bit of permanent damage, maybe a half to a quarter health bar, but every little bit of damage helps. So now they'll be able to go ahead and chase him around. If they're lucky and they have reload speed with Griffin, they might be able to dome him right as he is evolving to stage 2. Oh, safe gaming? Okay. So a little bit of reavers for a food. So the support doing a good job of keeping up. Good jetpack management for this person. So evolving in the same spot where all monsters go. And so the support doing a good job. Might be able to get off a few blasts of his laser cutter here. And he might try and do a preemptive cloak here. So, 2 abduction. This is a very interesting build. You know, having a spread of skills. I absolutely hate Supernova. I think it's probably one of the worst abilities in the entire game. With decoy slightly behind, just because it doesn't really help in a lot of the situations where it used to. But very interesting. You don't see too many wraiths going all spread out in abilities. They usually go 3 abduct, 3 warp blast, or vice versa. Or they might just hit all 3 points. But not having 3 points in a single skill at stage 2 against the Kyra Hank is very interesting. It means that you're going to be relying on misposition of the hunters. Oh, just like this, going to get pounced here. There's the pounce. Personal shield goes up, and the hunters are thankfully close enough. We'll be able to go ahead and knock it off. The dome does, in fact, miss. So they need to be very, very careful. And the abduct misses. They're doing a little bit of damage. Might be able to start taking it down to permanent health. But the Wraith going to skitter off, as it is not going to be getting anything from that engagement. So a little bit of food, a couple more armor, and he will be up. And it looks like somebody got caught in a plant. Oh, Megamouth. Megamouths, the jerks of the universe. I feel like all wildlife is pretty much the jerks of the universe. And Megamouth going to go after Cardboard again. They need to do a job of either just kill the monster or be much better with their jetpack management. It looks like that they're going to try and kill it now. And meanwhile, the Wraith just sitting here not doing anything. The Assault was by himself and could have been pounced, and that would have been very bad because look how far away the rest of the team is. And so the Assault, very, very much out of position right now. I feel that this Assault needs to be much, much careful. And here we go. There is the first Warp Blast. There's the personal shield. And the Wraith going to duck away while his abilities recharge and while the personal shield wears out. Once the personal shield wears out, he's going to go right after Monix, and here we go. And and if that abduct hit, Monix probably could have gotten down. So the rest of their team, the Assault, needs to get out of there. Hank just barely getting by. Very, very clutch shield. So even though you're the Assault, you need to be very, very careful. Once you trigger that personal shield, it's a countdown. The medic, a lot of people are starting to learn as Monster that you engage the Assault, wait for him to waste his personal shield, and then go balls out against the Assault because you're going to be able to take out their heavy damage dealer. And if you take out their heavy damage dealer, they're not going to be able to do much. So Trapper, and there goes Decoy. So this is why I don't like Decoy, because you are flashing so stupidly amount that the invisibility might as well not even exist. So Sharper by himself might be able to go ahead and get out of there. Needs to be very, very careful. Armor already about halfway down. I do like that the Hunters are kind of ungrouped, because the last thing you want to be is getting grouped up against Warp Blast. So Monix's personal shield is up again. He's probably going to start using it pretty shortly. And there's the personal shield. Hank has a harpoon on the Wraith, but the Wraith Wraith, I don't know. I feel like Griffin is not really great against the Wraith for the most part, just because it's very easy for the Wraith to stay in combat. And there we go. Monix's personal shield down, and here we go with the strike. But Hank, fantastic job by Hank. Hank doing a great job of keeping that assault alive. Absolutely brilliant of Sharper. Very, very well done job. And that orbital, fantastic spot for the orbital, forces the monster to disengage. But it looks like the monster is trying to stick around, trying to get that support down, and unfortunately misses with his abilities, and is taking a little bit of permanent damage and will not get a strike in that engagement. Very, very good job. Sharper and Illusional doing a fantastic job as medic and support. Sharper doing really, really clutch. Monix probably should have deserved a strike or two, just being a little bit more aggressive than he needs to be. And Monix coming up, going to see the monster. There's the pounce, and there's the personal shield. And Illusional doing a great job with the healing grenades. Now, the monster might be waiting out Monix's assault shield, but it looks like I think he's just going to try and armor up. Hasn't eaten very much, and is very, very slow on getting to stage 3, and we're about halfway, yeah, a little bit more than halfway through the first, or through this game. So nice split, assault and medic sticking close together, support and trapper staying together. Be very, very careful though that you don't get split up, and there we go. Monster trying to go after the trapper, the dome comes down, and the monster only with 2 bars of armor. This is going to be a good job. Now, Cardboard needs to be very, very careful. Fantastic shielding. Once again, Sharper and doing an absolutely incredible job of shielding the right targets at the right time. Here comes the abduct, but the abduct, the monsters or the hunter's going to be able to just fall and let gravity carry him away. So Cardboard still low health, and there goes the support doing an orbital and getting a little bit of damage on the monster. But look at them, all grouped up. A couple warp blasts could be very, very scary right now. I do wish that they would separate and not group up so much. So medic getting low health, but again, fantastic job. You know, Hank doing an absolutely incredible job. The monster really needs to focus on Hank, because Hank is the reason why these trappers are alive more than anyone else. And so I feel like he should just focus on Hank and no one else. But it looks like the monster getting shredded right now, and Kyra doing a good job using AoE heals to keep up the team. And I like that they're using a little bit of grouping up with Kyra to allow her to heal several people at once. Monix, low health. There goes a quarter health. Monix, personal shield, really good job. I like the assault, the weight on that personal shield, basically forcing the monster, and the monster trying to drag the assault towards and away from the rest of the group. The rest of the group finally gets here, and again, Sharper with that freaking shielding. Amazing job. If there's anything else, Sharper, you are doing an incredible job of shielding people at the right moment. Your orbitals could use a tiny bit of tweaking, but those shields are amazing. So here we go, seeing the monster get a little bit more health. Only at a quarter health. Right now, it'd be very, very tempting to go ahead and start getting the meat needed for a stage 3 engagement, or in case you need it. Because right now, you're getting very low on health, and it's going to be scary to try and engage. So here we go, a little initial hitch. The Warp Blast misses. Cardboard going to be healed by Kyra. Great job. There goes the decoy. Looks like the monster's going to try and get Monix, or just try and get away. Nope, looks like he's going to try and get away. And I feel that the monster should probably start trying to get enough meat in case a stage 3 is forced on him. The nice thing about this is that the stage 3 engagement is actually a little bit kinder for the Wraith, because they do have to fight kind of in a closed area where Supernova actually might make a difference. So monster once again hiding in the bushes, waiting for an opening. Oh, and trap or support all by himself needs to be very, 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 very careful. You know, one plant, one mega mouth, one monster pounce is all it takes. So I'm not a big fan of this 3-1 split right now, especially when the monster is at stage 2 and you know that it has abduct. So just be very, very careful. Monster looks like he's finally starting to eat on the move. Doesn't feel pressure from the hunters, and it's starting to go away. So it looks like that the monster was pinged by assault. And here we go. Again, that 3-1 split needs to be a little careful, just because, again, Against the Wraith, you don't really want to split very well because one good Abduct and Warp Blast, and you can get down somebody very, very quickly if they're split up. So here we go with an engagement. It looks like he might be engaging in the caves. If he can pull people in here and then get the Supernova, again, Sharper doing a great job shielding the right people. And if he can force people to come towards him and then using a Supernova over here, he might be able to do some really good work. And there goes the decoy. I like that the monster is actually... Oh, monster pounces the assault, but it looks like that they're just going to be way too grouped up. This is actually kind of a scary engagement for the monster, unless you're fighting in that little cave area, because then your Supernova and your Warp Blast are going to do a great job. Ooh, fantastic Orbital. The Orbital is going to pin the monster into a corner. Amazing, amazing damage. The monster trying to do everything it can to get out. Fantastic job. Once again, support super on point today. And it looks like right now Silverblade's just trying to do, and I think that Silverblade just gave up, and there is the win.
Let's get a picture of us in front of this thing. I can send back to my... What? Fine. Evac.
God, that ending was stupid.
What happened there at the end?
I just sort of was like, you know what, I'm done with that right there. But there was just
Okay.
yeah, that I hit so many people in the end there with Warp Blast, but every one of them did no damage. I even knocked Hank back with one of them, and it didn't do any bit of damage to him.
Did they change Warp Blast again?
No.
I have no idea. It was
Oh, okay.
I did it right in between Kyra and Hank shielded Kyra, but Hank still flew off from the Warp Blast explosion, and it did no damage to him.
I don't know, maybe Kara just straight healing burst me afterwards? I don't know.
I did not see his health go down and go
Okay.
back up at all.
Well, I just know that the Kraken can do Lightning Strike knockback without dealing damage to you. Maybe it's the same. So, like, that you're right out of range of the Warp plus damage,
I
but
was
still, like, in range.
right in between them, like smack in the middle of them.
Yeah, good game. Let me go ahead and give my thoughts real quick, then I'm going to go ahead and mute because my wife needs to vacuum real quick, and I'm sure my streamer doesn't want to hear that. I just wanted to say, I feel that the Hunters, every now and then, you are getting a little split up. The Assault, there were a couple of times when I feel you probably deserved a strike because you were way ahead of everyone else. But Sharper, you are absolutely on point with those shields. Like, that was you saved so many people with just shielding them at the right time. Like, you did a fantastic job overall. I do like that, Silver, you took advantage when the Trapper was at low health, and you pounced him and you got that first early strike. It really made a big difference. That being the case, though, I'd be careful if you're that far away from the Medic and the Assault because they're on the other side of the river. I would never go into the caves because any damage you take from Reavers or Mammoth Birds, it's just going to encourage the monster to try and get a strike on you early. And even if the monster engages you, even with like full health, the Medic was so far away, and so I would have liked to see you kind of more parallel to where they were on the inside of the map, like the ravine, so you could jump over to them and they could jump towards you, so you would have a little bit chance. So a little bit further away from each other than I would have liked at the beginning, and aside from the occasional wanderings of the one hunter and whatnot, but both Kyra and Hank were just amazingly good with keeping everyone alive. Those Hank shields were really, 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 really solid. I feel that Griffin probably, like, I have mixed feelings. Like, I love Griffin, but against Wraith, I feel like his harpoon gun is so useless because the Wraith is just so mobile anyway, and like any one of her melee attacks, even if it's not even looking at Griffin, just seems to break the thing. So I probably would have liked to have seen the machine gun used a little bit more. Excuse me. But really good job. Cardboard, you were doing a good... Wait, you were the Assault, right?
No, I was the Assault.
Yeah, that's right, because normally you play Assault. Yeah. And so the Assault doing a good job, just always keeping up pressure. I felt that you were just a little bit aggressive because you were usually farther away from your team. There were a few times when I think if the monster knew like for instance when the Megamouth was attacking the poor trapper over and over again, I feel like that the assault was so far away that he could have just pounced you and you would have just been eaten by the time anyone got close by. So just be a little bit aware of your distance from each other. That being the case though, Silver, you were doing a really good job. I felt that you had a very strong opening, but those stage 2 encounters, like I said, Hank was just extremely on point. You just couldn't get any strikes on anyone, and so it was really, really hard. Very interesting build too. I don't see too many wraiths spreading to all 4 skills as much as I used to see them, but really good job. I'm going to take a slight AFK while my wife vacuums, and I'll be right back in a couple minutes.